Hey guys, this is Manu, Kalia, physical therapist and Ayurveda herbalist. Welcome to Tadosha Wellness. So in this video, I'm going to answer a question and looking at basic walking or gait mechanics and different joints and muscles that need to be working properly for knee-related injuries. Okay, so as I always say, and you've heard me in a lot of my other videos too, above and below the joint. You got to look above and below, okay? It's going to affect the joint too. So if you're not treating or addressing issues that are going on in the hip, or for that matter down in the ankle, it's going to affect what's going to happen at the knee too. Okay, you're going to waste a lot of time just treating the knee while the problem area is further down in the joint or further up in the chain somewhere, okay? Just to go over the basic mechanics, and we're going to look at walking and then also how that would translate over to a high impact activity or where there's a lot of force and load going through, or such as running, and how a lot of people have running related knee issues, patellofemoral or runner's knee pain, and other problems too. So first of all, in terms of basic walking mechanics, go ahead and take a step with your left foot. So as she's shifting forward onto that, right? And remember, walking is almost like it's controlled falling, okay? As you shift forward, a lot of things happen passively, and a lot of things need to be controlled eccentrically as well as concentrically or actively. So as she's stepping forward, you need to keep in mind, you gotta have enough or adequate mobility at various joints. Go ahead and take a step forward. So when she puts her foot there, first of all, she needs to have, scoot back a little. She needs to have enough or adequate amounts of ankle dorsiflexion or ankle mobility. If she doesn't have that, she's going to change the way she moves. Next, she needs adequate amounts of knee extension or full knee extension. She needs that. So a lot of people are walking around, if you have a little bit of a knee extension lag, or you don't have enough mobility through there, it's going to affect what's happening at this joint. How are you going to load up that quadricep tendon or that patellar tendon and cause maybe compression at that kneecap? And for that matter, as you shift forward, as she goes forward, you need to have adequate amounts of hip extension. So good hip mobility. So anterior structures, if they're too tight, the hip doesn't have enough flexibility, it's going to change what you're going to do down the chain too. So let's take some examples. So scoot back. So let's say if as she shifts her weight forward, she doesn't have enough ankle dorsiflexion or mobility. So to get around that, she's going to want, she might turn her foot outwards, okay? Possibly pronating the foot a little bit, or if you have you're missing some arch support, the arch is collapsing, the foot is turning outwards. And now what she's doing is she's accomplished the task. She's able to go forwards, but she's changed the mechanics in the chain, which means she's going to she's going to do too much rotation through here, which might irritate some of the IT band structures, which is IT band problems here, or she might irritate because she's doing too much rotation at the knee also, irritate the inside of the knee, and for that matter, too much rotation is taking place here, and that's going to possibly get some hip-related or SI joint issues, low back issues too. So, you have to think about that, and that she needs to have adequate amounts of, come back, she has to have enough dorsiflexion in that ankle, enough mobility in that ankle to be able to go over that properly, knee straight. Go ahead and shift your weight forward so that she can perform a proper movement so things are in alignment, okay? Now, same principle applies, same thing with the knee extension. If she's missing that for some reason, it's also going to change how she's going to get around that problem. Once again, she's going to work at, she might decide to go ahead and bring your left foot forward. And as she takes off and she shifts her weight, she's going to, because she's missing that knee extension, she's not going to get enough of that through there. She's going to again start to do funny things up here in the chain too, to get around that problem. So which will cause knee-related issues and possibly issues up in the chain too. Now the big one, which a lot of people tend to be, is a lot of tightness in that hip also. So missing a lot of hip extension, right? Hip extension, remember, is the ability to do this, right? You got to have enough range through here to push off. It's this movement, the leg coming backwards, okay? So if you're missing that because the local muscles through here are so tightened up, the hip joint or the anterior capsule is so tightened up, and some of the ligaments through there are tightened up, you can't get, so when she steps with the left leg and she comes forward, you gotta have adequate amounts of hip extension. If it doesn't come from there, I gotta find it somewhere. I'm gonna find it in my low back, I'm gonna extend or arch through my low back to get that range. I'm gonna start doing some rotations through here to get around that. I'm gonna maybe rotate my whole thigh, whole leg outwards to accomplish that task. And that again is gonna cause some issues, as we said, which might affect the inside of the knee, medial joint line pain issues, patellofemoral issues, runner's knee type problems. You might look at some stuff, even IT band related issues might come into play, right? So you have to have adequate extension, mobility through here too, okay? Now this is, again, we're just talking about the mobility, enough range of motion, the basics. You have to have adequate flexibility for various structures in the chain, and we're talking about some of the joints. But again, soft tissue also, or the muscles need to be mobile enough too. Whether it's your calf that's too tight, right, that keeps pulling you out of whack, or if your quadricep muscles are too tight, or your hip flexors, these guys in the front, are too tight, and they keep pulling the pelvis in an awkward position. So that addressing those issues is very important, because without addressing those things, you're not going to totally get to the root cause of that problem. So your goal always is to build symmetry, build balance in the whole system between the front and the back, and the side and the outside and the inside, and various structures. So the system and it works better, it functions better, okay? And it optimizes performance and reduces risk of injury. So mobility, and then of course the next big component is going to be strength in the system. Does the system have enough glute strength to stabilize the pelvis, right? Does the system have enough balance between the hamstrings and the quadricep muscles, okay? If the quads are too strong, hams are too tight and weak, it's going to throw off things again. There's an imbalance there, okay? Or the IT band, a lot of these structures are too bound up and tight through there, so they keep causing too much tension in this whole plane and starts to cause IT band irritation, or lateral or outside knee pain for a lot of people, okay? Calf muscles are too tight, right? Achilles tendon is too tight or bound up through here. Often you'll have people that are bound up in this region, so that might limit your ability to straighten out your knee or extend the knee, or the hamstrings are too tight, ability to straighten out or extend the knee too. So you really want to look at mechanically what's happening. Now think about it, this was just in terms of walking, and this is just the basics. It needs to be there. So what if it's with running? Right? So now you're going to go run, and it's 4 to 5 times your body weight coming down, slamming down through that whole leg. And you're running for, you know, X amount, 100 or 1,000 steps you're going to take. So that's a lot of load going through a system in an awkward way, and unnatural loading and irritation of various structures. So you're setting yourself up for problems, injury, and pain. And definitely, you know, performance is going to go down too. All right? So I hope that kind of at least gives you a basic idea of mechanically what you got to think about if you want to start addressing some of the knee-related issues you're getting for sports or just for general day-to-day function. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, check out the site for more info,